Hey guys, it's Generalkidd here. How's everyone doing today? So, ever since Halo Reach and a lot more into the Halo 4 and beyond era, a lot of Halo fans have always criticized the newer Halo games for trying to copy Call of Duty by bringing over a lot of staples from COD games such as sprint and I guess similar default controls. Halo 4 even doubled down on that and added somewhat of a kill streak system with its ordnance drops. But as it turns out, Halo 4, and by extension Halo 2 Anniversary multiplayer, also has a deathstreak system that's never used and couldn't be accessed without a bit of modding. This is a pretty obscure cut feature that I don't think many people knew about either. So for this video we'll be diving into that and seeing how it works and what it does. So just to recap that first, the deathstreak system was first introduced in Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 in the year 2010. And what it does is it was something you get set in your class. And when you die a certain number of times, depending on what you picked, you'd get a little boost. You'd respawn with it and you could have like more health, you could have the martyrdom ability, or you could copy an opponent's class, and so on. So this system also exists in Halo 4, and in the game files it's called Silent Assist, because it's supposed to assist you silently, and it's not supposed to be extremely obvious, the boost you're getting, unlike in Call of Duty. But with the Silent Assist Deathstreak system in Halo 4, you can control a lot of things like grenade damage, its radius, weapon spread, headshot aim assist, the melee cone, regular aim assist, and the amount of deaths and kills needed to progress and return through different tiers. Because Halo 4's Deathstreak system, the Silent Assist system, has 4 tiers. Tier 0 is the base tier. That's what you start with when you start the game. And if you die 3 times consecutively, you go to Tier 1. And then if you die 2 times consecutively from there, you go to Tier 2. And if you die 2 more times, you go to Tier 3. And in Tier 1, you get like a 10% boost on a lot of things. Tier 2, you get a 20% boost. And Tier 3, you get like a 30% boost on a lot of things. And some of these things could be like your weapon spread is reduced a little bit, or your aim assist is increased as well. But this Silent Assist Deathstreak system, it is not accessible anywhere in the custom game settings. Not on MCC, not on OG Halo 4 on the 360. In fact, you have to enable it by modding the game type itself. So here we have the Megalo script for the Slayer game type of Halo 4. All you have to do, if you want to enable it yourself, is go down to the game options, and then there's a little line of code here called Silent Assist Enabled. And by default, it's set to false actually. But all we have to do is just change it back to true, and that will enable the Silent Assist setting for Halo 4. And now that we have it enabled, we can put it to the test. So to actually test it out, I had a friend test me, because only player kills and deaths count as a result from that. So I modded this map. I changed the values and the Silent Assist so that it's a lot more obvious to us if it's working or not. Because the default settings, you can't really tell just based on that, because they're very subtle, because it's Silent Assist. So what I changed it to is that in Tier 1, the grenade damage would be increased to 10,000. In Tier 2 and 3, the damage is the same, but the grenade explosion radius is increased to 10 and then to 1,000. So by Tier 3, it should be very obvious we're in that tier. In Tier 1, it'll be obvious we're in that tier as well. So let's get right into it and let's get to Tier 1 first. So that requires 3 consecutive deaths to get to Tier 1 from Tier 0. And they have to be consecutive. If I get like 1 kill between any of those, then it resets my deathstreak count. But anyways, now I am on Deathstreak 3, which means I should be in Tier 1. So to test that, I'll throw a grenade at my opponent, and the 10,000 damage should kill him instantly, and it did. So that is how that worked. And then because I got 1 kill on him there, as you can see here, from Tier 1 to Tier 0, back to Tier 0, I only needed 1 kill to go back that tier. And I should be in Tier 0 now, and to confirm that, let's throw another grenade near my opponent here, and as you can see, it did not kill him instantly, because the grenade damage is now back to normal, instead of 1,000 10,000 times damage. So now let's just go all the way to the last tier, Tier 3. And basically to get to Tier 3, I'm going to need to die like 7 times consecutively. So you can see that like The only thing I modded here was just the grenade damage for these tiers. I did not change the amount of consecutive deaths needed. So, under normal circumstances, if this was ever enabled by 343 in MCC or Halo 4 back in the day, you would have needed 7 consecutive deaths to get to the final tier, which is it's not something that like it's that easy to get to, because if you even get 1 kill at any point in those, then your death streak is canceled out. And that's basically how it works. So it's not like 7 deaths in general gets you there. It just has to be consecutive deaths. Now, to go back tiers, you don't need consecutive kills. All you need are X number of kills while you're still within a certain tier. So like if you're in tier 2, you just need 2 kills at any point to go back to tier 1. But if you get a death streak of 2 in tier 2 before you get 2 kills, then you go to tier 3 and your kill count will be reset, in which case you'll need 3 kills to go back from tier 3 to tier 2. So that is how the Halo 4 system works compared to the Call of Duty system. Alright, so now I have a death streak of 7, which means I should definitely be in tier 3 now. And I'm going to test it out by throwing a grenade at a bit of a distance from me. And if it works, it should pretty much kill me from a very far distance. And as you can see, it does. And because the range was set to so high, it pretty much flung me out of the map with the explosion there. Now, my opponent was hiding behind a wall, so it has to be like line of sight for explosions, because he was shielded from the explosion there. But now, if I throw it here, we all died and got flung out of the map. And because I got a kill on him there, my death streak is now back to 0. But I'm still in tier 3, and I'll have to get basically 6 kills at any point without a death streak in between to go back to tier 0. So, to be more specific, now that I'm in tier 3, I need 3 kills to jump back to tier 2 here. And once I'm in tier 2, as long as I don't get a death streak of 2 before that, then all I need is 2 kills to go back to tier 1. And to get back to tier 0, I'll just need 1 kill. And at no point can I get another death streak to before those kills. Otherwise, I would go forward again in tiers again. So that is how Halo 4's Silent Assist death streak system works. Now, like I said, this was never enabled back in the day. There are no game types that ever used it. At least no default game types. Because the thing is about this is that these boosts are normally pretty subtle. So because without modding it, by default, you know, for tier 1, you only get like a 10% boost in aim assist and your melee cone. And then your weapon spread would be reduced by 10%. That's kind of a subtle increase, and even if it ever was enabled, it wouldn't have been too noticeable. And then, of course, to get to tier 2 and then to tier 3, where it might start to become a little more noticeable, it's a little bit difficult to get that many deaths consecutively, especially when you're trying in the game. So it's pretty subtle, and that's kind of the point of it, because that's why it's called Silent Assist. Which is also why I think, like, I don't think anybody would have really noticed this back in the day, like really known about it. I don't mean like notice the effects, because I don't think it was ever used. But technically, anybody could have enabled it in the original Halo 4 on the Xbox 360 by modding the Megalo game type, because Megalo modding was always around. So anybody could have technically enabled it. But I don't think anybody would have known what it does. And yes, you could have used Assembly back then as another community-made mod tool to see the Silent Assist tag on a map and to see the settings. But the thing is, in Assembly back then and even now, it doesn't tell you what Silent Assist is. It doesn't tell you what each of the fields are. Like, it doesn't tell you that a certain field is for grenade damage. It doesn't tell you it's for aim assist and weapon spread. It's just a bunch of like just generic text. So you have no idea what each one does. And for the kills to decrease level or to increase level or increase tiers, those are just like random numbers as well. So nobody looking at that Silent Assist back then, nobody would have known what that does. There would have been no way to do it. And even if you enabled it via the game setting by modding the game type, it would have been pretty subtle, like what the effects were, unless you like actually like died that many times consecutively to test it. which, you know, nobody would have really had any reason to, you wouldn't have really noticed a difference. And even if you did get to tier 3, it's a 30%, you know, increase in aim assist and decrease in weapon spread going to be like super noticeable too if you're not specifically looking for it? I'm not sure, because this was supposed to be very subtle, because that's why it's called silent assist. It's not as like obvious like when I modded it to do like 10,000 grenade damage, which funnily enough, the grenade damage was never touched in any of these tiers. It was always left at a 1x multiplier for all the tiers. I had to mod it to make it more obvious, and you know, I modded it to make it obvious so that you could actually see it working. But by default, it's not supposed to be very obvious, because unlike Call of Duty, where you know you're on a death streak, you're not supposed to know you're on a death streak in Halo 4. There's nothing on a UI, nothing on a HUD that tells you you're currently on a death streak. It's just supposed to give players who are struggling a bit of a small boost and make it a little easier for them. Which, if this was like in a game type like SWAT, that'd be pretty crazy actually. And people would probably be accusing each other of like using aim bots or something like that. So I don't know. What do you guys think? Like, do you think it's a good thing that 343 cut this from the game and like never used it? You know, or should they have actually enabled it? Like, what would it have been like if they enabled it? Do you think they should have enabled it, or do you think it's a good thing they left it cut? I'm curious what your thoughts are on this. You know, let me know what your thoughts are in the comments down below, because this is a very interesting system, and it's technically there in H2A as well. And now with the official mod tools, and now that we know what Silent Assist does, people could host games on a custom game browser that uses this Silent Assist system. So if you think it's like a cool thing, then, you know, maybe people could start doing it. But I'm just curious what everyone's thoughts are on this. Is it an interesting system, or is it better that it was left cut and never used? But yeah, so that wraps up for this video. Hopefully you guys found it to be interesting and enjoyed it. And as always, if you did, make sure to leave your thoughts in the comments and leave a like. And like I said, let me know down below if what your thoughts are on all this. But of course, let me know if there's anything else you need to look into or check out, and I'll do my best to look into it when I get a chance. But aside from that, if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe to my channel, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye guys!